Okay, we're back. So I actually had to adjust the strut a little bit, threaded it in, simply because I wanted to have the bag sit without having any kind of air in. So for example, if you air out the car and you're on a hoist, I don't want it to be wiggling around because of the fact that it has specific mount. So there's a small little opening on the top over here that the upper upper mount sits in. There's like a little opening, and there's a little notch on the top of this bag which goes in, which prevents it from sliding out. It's a customized bag. It's retained on the bottom here. It's a nice big bag, so you get a nice comfortable ride with this particular setup. So this one happens to be squeaky clean air and direct fit bag, no issue. Just plug it in, it goes right through here, and tighten it up. The top goes in here. The fitting is on the opposite side. You can see the fitting here actually, so no need to drill through and get the fitting through the top. This is for the B8 chassis, and the fitting will just go behind here. We're gonna run a line to it. That's it for the bag. The strut is already retained here as well, so the rear suspension is pretty much done. Now we're gonna run the lines. Same thing on the other side. Bada bing, bada boom. Very simple. And we're gonna run the lines through, and I'll show you guys how I'm gonna run the lines and how we run the lines. We don't run the lines on the interior. Well, I don't run the lines on the interior, and I don't like to run the lines on the interior, especially because some of my friends have brand new cars. My buddy just picked up a 2022 G82, and last thing you want to do is, if you're running the lines on the interior, unless you don't care on the interior, you're going to be removing all the panels. When you're removing all the panels, you know, with modern cars, all the panels happen to be plastic. And when you remove the panels, we all know they never pop back in correctly. So what I like to do is I like to run the lines on the exterior. It's absolutely safe. I usually run them underneath the car. Underneath the panels. Really easy to change out. If there's any issues, you don't have to pop the panels back up again, and you don't destroy the interior panels. So the interior happens to remain mint because you don't really have to destroy the interior, take all the panels out to run the line. So I'll show you guys how I'm going to run the lines for the B8, and stay tuned for the next video. But I just wanted to show you guys the rear suspension. So it's very, very simple, especially when you have a direct fit bag. So awesome good stuff. Okay, so I run the lines all the way from the back to the front. Very simple. With these cars, it's not too bad. Yeah, as you guys can see, I run the lines. Exactly. Whoa! It's peeking out. Okay, so essentially, you can run it all the way through. I like to run mine on the exterior. We already said that, and the reason why I do want to do that is because I don't like to remove panels on high-end cars and then later not have them fit properly. So make it simple, run it on the outside, but run it clean and run it with some thought behind it. So when you do run it in a way where it won't sag, or it's nicely hidden. So behind the bumper, going around here, going behind here, and then going through here. And then with a lot of the Euro cars, they have really nice panels underneath. So run it underneath this panel over here all the way to the front, and then going up into the ladder line. Same thing on this side. Behind the bumper, you guys can kind of see them there behind the bumper, going behind the shield, going over here, going you can kind of see, no, those are the brake lines. Kind of see a little bit of the line peeking through here. So going behind here, you guys can see it over there, and going behind the panel over here, all the way up to the front. So let's go check it out. So basically behind here, this one is going into the bag over here. So nice out of the way. This one's going to the bottom over here, underneath the shields. Obviously protruding from the bottom here, behind the shield, as you guys can see over here, up into the ladder line. Bada bing, bada boom. Clean, out of the way. Nice. Safe. Okay. Same thing on the other side, which is already covered by the wheel. But that's essentially it for the lines. Same thing for the rear. As I said, there's a line going through here. So behind the bumper over here, behind the fittings, the shields, of course, out of the way, out of the exhaust, and protruding behind here, and then going into the bag over here, which is a direct fit bag. Beautiful. It just sits there, no stupid brackets. Bada bing, bada boom. And they all congregate in the trunk. This one I haven't cut yet. We ran it through over here, through the vents. There you go. And they're all going to congregate inside the trunk, like they are over here, and they'll connect up into the 3P manifold, which is what this car is going to be running. And that's essentially it. That's running the lines. And stay tuned for more. I'm going to make it and have it basically on static air. So I'm going to connect the fittings to see how it sits, how it airs out and airs up. We're going to do that next. And then we're going to start getting into the process of working on the trunk setup. All right, so the lines are ran. Right now it's on static air. So basically I have the shorter valves that are linking the rears and they're linking the fronts, just to kind of see if it sits low. And yeah, of course it sits low. These cars slam. The A4s, sorry, the B8 chassis and the B9 chassis, very, very similar. Obviously the B9 rears are slightly a little bit different with different lower control arms. And you need special sort of end links for them if you're going to be running bags that are angled. But this is a B8 and they slam. When these cars are bagged, like they go down to the ground. So just because the suspension is it's not very restrictive. You don't have like, what is it? For example, with the all-wheel drive Lexus, they have the spindles. The spindles are too long, so they need to be shortened for them to drop in the front, especially because of the all-wheel drive. Because you got a fork that goes around the front axles because of the front differentials. So usually cars that are all-wheel drive sit a little bit higher in the front, and they need modifications. But these things obviously slam. So it's on the ground. I like the way it sits. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to work on the trunk setup and the electrical part of it, or the wiring for the 3P kit. And pretty much just needs, what are we going to need? We're going to need a calibration. And that's all she wrote. She's bagged all the way to the ground. And we're going to set up the pressures, the right presets, and we're good to go. So far so good.